She's still recording it. What? I got you, rabbit head.
There's a 2-year-old boy that sits in a circle of other boys his own age because his mother told him that his condition wouldn't allow him to go to the same school that his brothers and sisters go to. The children he sits with are normal, but they fidget just a little more than other kids or act out just a little more. Why must this little boy be forced to change his life because the teacher who went to school to educate children can't handle one child that requires a little more attention? This could be your child that feels neglected and rejected simply because they have an attention disorder. I feel qualified to speak on this subject because I have seen with my own eyes the negative effects of separation of children with ADD. I would like to persuade my audience on the separation of children with attention deficit disorder. Little is really known about attention deficit disorder other than the fact that it makes children hyper beyond control. Today I'm going to help the audience learn a little more on ADD so that they can better realize that children with disability need equal education. I'll do this by explaining what ADD is, explaining the negative effects of separation, and the negative emotional effects. First, what is ADD? ADD and ADHD is a neurobiological-based developmental disability estimated to affect between 3 to 5% of the school-age population. No one knows exactly what causes it. Scientific evidence suggests that the disorder is genetically transmitted, in many cases, and results from a chemical imbalance or deficiency in certain neurotransmitters, which are chemicals that help the brain regulate behavior. In addition, a landmark study conducted by the National Institute of Mental Health showed that the rate at which the brain uses glucose, which is sugar and the brain's main energy source, is lower in subjects with ADD and ADHD than those without it. Signs of ADD are inattention, which is the inability to pay attention in class. Their mind wanders and different things like that. Hyperactivity, which is having too much energy and not being able to know what to do with it. And impulsivity, which means they think on impulse. They don't really think before they do things, they just do them. How do they find out if your child has ADD? A thorough examination of medical and family history, a body physical, interviews with family and the child, behavior rating scales completed by parents and teachers, observation, and a variety of psychological tests. And these psychological tests have been done on children with ADD and ADHD, and some of them have gotten the same results, so you can't really base whether or not your child has ADD or ADHD off of these tests. Now that I've given you a thorough explanation of what ADD is, I'll go into the negative emotional effects and the negative social effects. First, the negative social effects. The first one is separation anxiety disorder. All children have this, and it usually peaks when they're about 18 months old and then diminishes after. But children that are separated from the rest of the students in a regular school tend to have this later on in life for a longer period of time. Kids with separation anxiety disorder have an extreme fear of being away from home, and they have a fear for their parents and a fear for themselves to be kidnapped or taken. And they become distressed if separation is anticipated, such as whenever a parent is leaving to go to work and dropping them off at the school, they'll have a breakdown. Children with ADD that are separated at a young age usually call the nurse at school because they don't want to be there since they can't be with everyone else. Or they become the class clown or bully for attention because they can't get it from all the regular students. And they avoid becoming involved in activities where they are unsure of success because they feel deficient since they were never able to be with everyone else. And the emotional effects. Aggressive or violent behavior results from feelings of failure that they get from being separated. And they can have withdrawal, anxiety, and depression. Your child may turn inward into themselves even more to isolate themselves more because that's all they know. And they can have low self-esteem because your child has been unable to have positive experiences with other children, so they have problems developing a healthy esteem. And possibly your child will bury his or her feelings so deeply that they will come out in form of physical ailments such as your wrists and ankles hurting or their backs hurting or headaches. I hope that these points has helped to persuade you that children with attention deficit disorder need equal education and that they shouldn't be separated from other students. Don't allow your children or grandchildren to be the ones questioning their own self-worth in a circle of other children asking the same question. Why am I different? And why do I have to be set apart for a problem that I can't even see? Educate yourselves on the cons of separating your child because of ADD before you make a decision that will change their lives forever.
Thank you.